Hello, my friends, people who are checking in for the first time, or if you have been a part of the God and Gigs community for a long time. My name is Alan C. Paul, and I'm the owner and founder of God and Gigs. We are a platform all about helping musicians and artists to build a better life from the inside out, connecting our faith, our career, and our relationships. We have a platform here on Facebook, a community called the God and Gigs Creative Community, as well as a podcast, the God and Gigs Show, and of course our blog and all that podcast episodes. All the podcast episodes are shared at godandgigs.com. And so as people are coming in, this is a weekly show people and at this time. I cannot think of a situation in 25 years of being in this business that equals what is going on right now. So as you're coming in, please let me know if you can hear me okay. All the technical stuff is working out, because I always wait on for some thumbs up or something like that. You just send me a comment or something like that so I can see that everything is working. Okay, Bianca's in the house. Good to see you, Bianca. So good, making sure that everybody can see and hear me. And because I was just playing around with some technical stuff. As always, I don't know why I try to do technical things right before I sign in. But once again, this is just an unbelievable moment for creatives. And I'm going to try to keep it very positive. I'm going to try not to be doomsday today. I'm not going to be doom and gloom and the sky is falling, even though it may feel very much like the sky is absolutely falling this time, that this is not crying wolf, that this is an all hands on deck kind of situation. And so what I wanted to do, first of all, is make sure that this is an encouraging moment for you, that this is a moment to rally as artists, as musicians, as people of faith. I'm going to be very clear about this message. If you're watching and you don't share a faith background, that's great. You can get so much value from this. But I know where I'm relying on. I know where I'm pulling my strength from. I know where I was just an hour ago, 2 hours ago in my devotion. I know what I was reading, and I know why I feel a sense of confidence. Even when fear comes in, I know why I feel the way I feel. And it's not because I have some superhuman ability or superhuman confidence or anything. Like, I just know where my help comes from. And so the name of the podcast, the name of the whole platform is God and Gigs. And we're going to be very honest about where we are pointing our help and pointing our hope at. But overall, when I say today's topic is the ultimate playbook for surviving a slowdown when you don't have any gigs, I'm not just simply saying that to pull you in and make clickbait, because you might be at home right now wondering where your next paycheck is coming from, or wondering how you're going to get through these next few weeks, when every single indication is from the news, and I try not to watch the news a lot, but every indication is this is a situation that is not going away anytime soon. And so it's affected so many live performers, entertainers, sports, catering. I can name anything, restaurants, everything involving anything entertainment or helping people to relax and have something outside of the survival mechanisms. It seems like all of those things are being taken away. So musicians, artists, creatives, no matter what you do in any kind of live performance, I know I'm speaking to you because you've been affected. Shaka, good to see you, man. Thanks so much for checking in. So what I'm going to get to right now, and like I said, I'm not going to waste time, because these are things that need to be done by all of us immediately, whether or not you've been affected by coronavirus, but clearly because 99.9% of us, I don't think there's a single person in this call or in our community who hasn't been affected. So I'm going to first start. I'm going to take a glance at my notes over here to make sure you guys know why I'm glancing, because I wanted to make sure to stay right on point. I teach a coaching group called the Creative Coaching Community, God and Gigs Creative Coaching, where I walk them through 5 steps of building a better creative career, using these principles that I also teach in my book, God and Gigs, Succeed as a Musician Without Sacrificing Your Faith. So I kind of modified them a little. There's 7 steps in the book. You can check that out. I'm not shying away from letting you know that these resources are there for you. So I'm going to mention them a lot. So everything that I give you guys is not just to try to make money for me in this season. It's definitely a benefit if you purchase things, but most importantly, it's here for you. It's why I wrote it. It's why I made it for times like this. So in that book, I talk about 7 different steps to build a successful career as a musician and as a faith-focused freelancer. But I broke it down to 5 more steps for the creative coaching community. And so what I'm going to do in this particular thing, I'm going to break down 2 of those steps that will help you continue to survive a slowdown. And these steps are, again, not just for coronavirus times when we're quarantined and people can't get out and people can't work and tours have been canceled, but they will work now, and they will work anytime there's any kind of slowdown, anytime there's anything that we are being faced with where you don't have the same resources or income or access to the things that you normally have access to. And so, again, I hope you write these down. I'm not just making these up. These have been time tested. These are tested by both entrepreneurs outside the music space, outside of the creative space, and inside. They've been talked about by so many different other musical and creative gurus that I follow, and I know that I'm right on line with them. So there's nothing I'm talking about that's new under the sun, okay? But if you don't follow these, I can tell you you're going to be struggling for the next few weeks. And I don't mean to be, again, doom and gloom, but let's just be honest. With tours being canceled, with restaurants closing down, with people worrying about their health and holding on to their money and making sure that they have supplies and making sure the survival things are taken care of, which you need to. And you need to take care of your health first and foremost. We all need to be doing all the things the CDC talk about: washing hands. I got Purell, and I've got my Clorox wipes right across here where I've been wiping down my own computer stand. I'm taking precautions. Everybody's taking precautions. But let's talk about what we can do to be proactive. Let's talk about not waiting for fear and issues to stop us. Let's talk about how we can continue to build our careers and keep the right mindset so that when this passes, and it will pass, you're in a better position than you were before. So I want to talk first about something I call clarity of vision. And clarity of vision has to do, the entire anagram spells out clear, but it starts with clarity of vision. And so right now, I want you to make sure that you see yourself, clarity of vision, as a worthwhile, valuable artist who is not moved or shaken based on your amount of work. You're about to enter a season where you will not be able to form an opinion about yourself based on how much work you're doing. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give you strategies to get more work and to keep working. It means that your identity never should have been based on how busy you are. It never should have been based on how many gigs you had. It never should have been based on who you've worked with, how many tours you've done. If your identity was based in that, you got a serious wake-up call in the last 48 hours, 72 hours. You can't base your identity as a musician, singer, creative, freelancer on your work. That was never our basis. And I'm going to kind of go back to a spiritual position here. And it goes in my book, Your Art, God's Heart, which, by the way, if you want to get this devotional, some of you guys that are in your houses and you're wondering what you're going to do for 21 days, check out my devotional. Again, I'm not selling this because I need to sell it. I'm selling this because I believe it's going to help you. godandgigs.com/books. You'll see the devotional, Your Art, God's Heart, a 21-day devotional for creatives. It's literally only 70, 60 pages or so. Just a short lesson every day. But you can use these lessons to help you in this time when you need to kind of reinvent yourself and kind of focus on yourself more. But the reason I'm bringing up devotional is because one of the lessons is talking about your identity. Your identity cannot be based on how many jobs you get, how much work you get. It has to be based on who you are as a child of God, number one, as a creative second, and I'd say second as a family person, a person, a member of the community, a human being, and then third as a creative. So make sure that you've got your clarity of vision of who you are. you may sound very kind of up in the air, kind of spiritual, hoity-toity, whatever, what they call it. What's the word they use? Woo-woo. Might feel a little woo-woo, but we need to focus on our mindset right about now, because so many things are going to come at you, making you feel like if you're not working, no one's giving you calls, and it seems like income is drying up, you're going to feel worse about yourself. And then if you don't feel good about yourself, you will not be able to create from a place of freedom and confidence. And I don't care what you do with the next few steps. If you do not have confidence in yourself and don't feel that God is on your side, that you have something to offer the world, that we need you, if your mindset starts to suffer because of this, you won't be able to use any of these strategies. And these strategies will fall flat. And people will not feel comforted or assured when you present offers or tell them, hey, I'm doing this, I'm going to try this. Will you please follow me here? Will you please buy this? You're going to fall flat on your face. Because if you don't have the confidence inside of who you are, you're not going to have the confidence to present something to the world that desperately needs to see people who are not fearless, but courageous. In the spite of its situations, they're able to keep moving. Artists, we've always been able to be resilient. So that's my first thing to you: clarity of vision, how you see yourself, mindset. I had to start there before I got into specifics. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to use these other things. So what do I recommend? I already mentioned. Go to godandgigs.com/jumpstart. You'll see the first 7 lessons of the devotional. You can get it for free. And why I'm telling you to do that, because if you start doing some self-assessment, you will clear up the vision of away from what you're seeing in the news and onto your art. That's what I'm recommending. Also, journaling. I cannot recommend journaling enough. Writing down your goals, writing down things that you already wanted to do, and getting clear on what you have planned for the next 60 days. It's called 60 days, 2 months, right? Because we just don't know how long this is going to last. So that's clarity of vision. 2 goes to L, which is leverage of ownership. Again, I'm giving this away to you because this is part of my coaching program, but I believe you need it. And my coaching program, I'm going to go a lot more in depth in this. So if you guys are watching, I want you guys to know that this is for everybody, but trust me, I'm going to be working with my coaching clients extremely closely for the next few weeks. If you're interested in getting coachings, I also offer that. I'll put that link in a little bit later. So first part of leverage of ownership. You cannot anymore, you never could, but you could never rely on other people who own establishments, businesses, record labels to look out for your best interests. That was never the case. And now it's clear, because they have to act in their best interest in terms of keeping their in compliance with the CDC, with all the scares of coronavirus outbreak and spread. They have to act in their own best interest. It wasn't that they wanted to close. I'm sure all of these places are hurting, or bleeding income, bleeding money, bleeding savings, or are thinking about closing their doors. But it's unfair for us to blame them for kicking us out as musicians, artists, entertainers, touring musicians. They have to do what's in their best interest because they own that. We have to do what's in our own best interest, and that means we have to own things. And the thing you own, and I'm going to say this so I'm blue in the face, you already own your art, and you own your name, and you own your brand. If you haven't taken advantage of the fact that you are an individual musician who has a sound and a ability to reach people that nobody else does, you're missing out on your most prized asset at this moment. It was always yours, but now you're going to have to utilize it, and you're not going to be able to wait for someone else to give you permission. There's a book written by a guy named Lamar Tyler. I follow his podcast and his Facebook group. It's called "The Gatekeepers Are Gone," and this clearly shows that the gatekeepers no longer have any control. The gatekeepers are forced, in terms of the venues, the big artists, they're forced to shut down. So where does that leave us? If you have ownership of your brand, your name, a domain name, an email list, your digital assets, things that you can offer people without having to perform live. If you have ownership of those things, you have leverage. That's the key word, guys. Leverage. Do you have leverage? A lever, I always think of a lever as something that's able to push something or pull something or lift something that normally you couldn't lift by yourself. You cannot survive in this particular situation if you're simply waiting for someone else to push the lever of ownership and be able to give you gigs or get you work. You've got to be able to have that lever yourself. So I'm going to give you some quick tips, some ultimate playbook tips that you can do right away. Again, steps you can take right away in order to get through this slowdown, even if you don't have any gigs. So first, I need you to write down an inventory of what you have to offer. An inventory. You need to take inventory. My coaching clients know this very well. They did this already. They take an inventory of all the things you already have. Now that includes both your work in terms of your actual being able to play, sing, write, direct, and your non-talent assets, your other skill sets. That could be things that you can teach, things that are about your brand or things about you that are exciting. Maybe you're an extrovert and you're awesome at doing Facebook Lives. You're awesome at getting people connected. That's an inventory. You need to take inventory of that, write that down. If you have different skills that aren't necessarily in music or art, but you're able to kind of, you're good at graphic design, which is still art, or you're good at engineering, or you got, I'm talking all the way down to Uber driving, Lyft driving. Whatever your skills inventory is, you need to write it all down. Don't leave anything out. Unfortunately, there's a lot of times that we in these situations get stuck thinking all I can do is what I do. I'm a musician, so there's no music gigs, so that's all I can do. Wrong. You know good and well, whether you were doing a full-time job, part-time job, all of these skills that you have, both those inside and outside the creative sphere, were always at your disposal. But you probably were just not using them at the time. So what I'm saying to you is inventory, write down all the things on a whiteboard, a sheet of paper, or in your Google Doc or something. Write them all down. And then make sure that you start to look at the connections between those skills. The skills that you have that you can offer people, make sure you look at the connection. Well, if you're extroverted and you're also excellent at, let's say, you're excellent at relating with people on a live basis, but you're not allowed to interact with them. So how can you parlay that skill? How can you teach that skill? How can you use that skill in a more effective way using online capabilities? There's a niche for every single creative gift. This is going to force you to use it in a way, but you're going to have to own it. So let me go now quickly, as I only got 30 minutes to try to squeeze all this in. Now we need to go to the point of where you remind people what you have to share, where to share it. So after you have an inventory, you have to have a place where you share your information, your inspiration, your art. So that means you've got to have ownership of your identity. Ownership of your identity. After you have inventory, you got to have ownership of your identity. And that simply means you got to own some real estate on the web. This means more than just having a Facebook page, just having a Facebook profile, having an Instagram profile. You need to own your domain name. That means you need to go to GoDaddy.com if you don't already own your domain name. If you don't have your AlanCPaul.com or your JohnnyHoliday.com, Johnny, I see you over there. If you don't already have that domain name, my next step is you've got to own your name like today, because there's simply no guarantee that you're going to be able to break through the noise of all those problems that are going on in the world and be able to reach your people if you don't own your name and have access to them outside of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There's just too much going on. So you've got to get that domain name. And I'm going to give you a link later on. I'm going to make sure that it's the right link. But I have a link for GoDaddy, I believe. I'm going to make sure I have the right link. But if you want to just go straight to GoDaddy, that's fine. I think I also have an affiliate link with that, and that helps me as well. But I'm going to be honest and just tell you that I want to make sure that you get that right away. And here's the key about selling things right now in terms of trying to share your art with people, share your albums with people. If you have albums already, whatever it is, you have to consolidate all of your stuff, your inventory, and make it accessible. That means, once again, it can't simply be on Facebook or Twitter. It can't simply be buy my stuff. It can't be, oh, please follow me. It has to be relatable, and it has to be accessible to the people who follow you. And it has to be in a way that pulls them along, or designed in a way that pulls them along and saying we're part of the community, not simply buy things from me because I'm hurting right now and I need to get work. Salesy will not work. Desperate will not work. Not in this climate. You've got to find a way to be very clear about your intentions and make sure that when you own your inventory, you own your identity, you have a brand, you have a marketing strategy, and this doesn't need to be all big and like fancy, guys. It simply needs to be something that will make you unique and remind people why they follow you. Remind people why they like your music. Remind people why you're a good pianist, why you're a good drummer. And then remember, you're going to go back to your inventory and you're going to find those things that you can offer people outside of the norm, which can then benefit them. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples right away. I'm a member of Take Lessons. TakeLessons.com is a lesson board where people can sign up for lessons. Even today, I've had people call me and ask me, do I do lessons? Because their kids are staying home. They need access to a teacher. And I'm telling you that there's so much room on even that profile, Take Lessons profile, where you could start building a name and start using that particular platform and then direct them also to your website and be able to then connect those people to your email list. And then you own that particular area of your life where you can present lessons, even if you're not a teacher or you have been teaching. And that's immediate income. Take Lessons pays every week. So you do a lesson, they pay the very next week. So you've got to look at what you have available to you. People in crisis don't have time to search for you. They need your access, your gift, what you have to offer right away. So if you have not already got your domain name, go to GoDaddy and buy that domain name. And if you have not already got an email list, I'm telling you right now, go to godandgigs.com. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you. Oh yeah, go to godandgigs.com/toolkit. You'll see a link for ConvertKit. ConvertKit is an email list. It has it's an ability to make a free email list, and you can get started right away. Why am I preaching email list? Because as I just told you, social media is going to be saturated. You're not going to be able to get through to your clients, your customers, the people, without being able to connect to them directly through email. So go get an email list and start on it. If you need help with that, I'm going to be doing some more trainings on email lists and things like that in the next couple of days. I might do another Facebook Live outside of our creative checkups just to help you guys. I have a video for that for my creative coaching program. They've already seen it. I'm going to make sure that they are all starting on this. If you do have an email list, that's great. Reach out to your email list today and start letting them know that you will be offering new things outside of the normal functions of your gigs, and that they should follow you. They should be paying attention. You got to use these things right now. Okay? And by the way, I'm losing my voice. It's not anything or cold or cough or anything. Okay? Everybody's freaking out, including me, every time something happens with my voice, with my throat. Sorry. So that's the 2 steps, okay? Number 1 was your inventory. Number 3 was your identity, making sure you own your brand, okay? Number 3, and I try to keep them all eyes, but they're not all eyes, okay? I thought that would be cool to keep them all eyes. But the last one is you got to have a way to get paid. You got to have a way to get paid, okay? So you guys all know about Cash App. I don't think I need to explain Cash App to everybody. I don't need to explain Zelle. But again, think about it in terms of whether or not people are able to pay you or get income to you outside of the normal, I just want to send you money through Cash App. That's not exactly the most efficient or the most professional way to do it. My advice is to go ahead and open yourself either a PayPal, which you probably already have, or a Gumroad account. Gumroad is a app or a website where you can create products and use payments and put it on their site and then eventually connect it to your own site. So gumroad.com. You can also use patreon.com. Patreon is where people give recurring payments and they're able to sign in to your stuff. And there's easy ways to set up a Patreon right away. But here's the thing. You got to go all the way back to the front. If you have not done your inventory, you're not going to have the right identity where you have your branding right. And then whenever you try to get people to pay you or to sell things or do whatever, it's not going to make sense. And especially if you didn't go back to number one and make sure you have clarity of vision in terms of who you are as an artist. You have to have all these things in place. The playbook is walk down those steps. Now I'm going to go ahead and start creating some of these things in terms of an online basis. But if you don't already have something in this way, I want to go ahead and offer you to at least look at godandgigs.com/roadmap, because that at least has the beginnings of the setup that I just explained to you. And you can think about how can you help each other to build these little networks to help each other either go live on Facebook, presenting concerts on Facebook, Instagram lives. Of course, there are going to be a bunch of bands doing that. I'm actually going to share a couple of posts right now that explain how some bands are doing this. So excuse me while I type and talk. But these are some links that I wanted to show you where people have already started doing this and they've built up fan bases and they've been able to reach people outside of gigs. And so I've just posted 2 of those links there where you can kind of look and kind of read on how people are doing that. But I invite you to check out godandgigs.com/toolkit, because all of these things I'm talking about are available there. And you can also, of course, check out the podcast where we're going to be sharing more. I think this week we're going to start going to a weekly format. We used to do a podcast every other week. This week I think I'm going to just throw caution to the wind. Let's go ahead and do it every week. I don't care if I run out of material. I'll just come on every week and talk to you guys, because this is the time that we need to band together. And so we're at 26 minutes, 27 minutes that we've been live. I want to respect your time. I hope you've gotten some value out of this. By the way, I didn't ask for any comments during this. I kind of just started rambling, so I apologize. But I really want to ask you, how are you dealing with this situation? Are you in a good place? Do you understand that if gigs have been canceled, that there is ability for you to continue to gain income, even if you don't have any gigs? That you can create products, you can create music, you can get on a Gumroad or a Patreon, you can jump in with an email list with ConvertKit, and you can start looking at new ways to make money right now. You don't have to wait till the bands start touring. You don't have to wait till CDC gives us all clear. You could start doing this now. And I wanted to finish off like I started with a bit of a scripture reference in terms of knowing your identity, knowing who God made you to be. I want to finish with that as well. So there's something called the Stockdale Paradox. If you haven't heard of this, it's in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, which is a highly recommended book. By the way, if you want to see books I recommend while you're at home quarantined, you can also check out godandgigs.com and then look for resources. And there's also a tab where you can see the books that we recommend that you check out. It's a great time for self-assessment and growing, guys. But really quick, what he talked about in the Stockdale Paradox is the idea that we have to be brutally honest about where things are and yet be passionately optimistic. The way he says it in, I want to read the actual quote. I should have kept it up. I erased it. But basically I can paraphrase it, that you cannot mix up faith that things will get better and get it mixed up with the brutal honesty that things are exactly what they are right now. So if things look bad, things look bad. We're not trying to be artists that say, la, 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 everything's going to get better if I just don't pay attention to everything. I turn off the news, which I advise you to turn off 90% of the news. Just watch what you need to watch. Check into the actual CDC. Don't watch any of these other shows. Just get your information from your local authorities. That would be my suggestion, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about. So my point is, the Stockdale Paradox is, you have to be honest about where you are and what's going on. But at the same time, you have to have a faith that is not shaken, that things will get better. Stockdale was a general who was actually a prisoner of war in Vietnam. And he said in the book, and explains in his own discussion, that the people in the war camp, the prisoners, who kept telling themselves, we're going to be free any day now, we're going to be free any day now, those were the ones that didn't make it out, who died of heartbreak, who just couldn't make it, who, whatever reason, the guards or whatever, it just took too much of a toll on them. They were trying to be optimistic, and at the same time, they were basically being unrealistic. And that's the key. I'm telling all of my artist friends, all of us in this community, all of you, whether you're hearing this now live or watching this on a replay, don't deny the reality of the situation, but also don't deny that you have the ability to get through the situation. Both are true. Both things, it can be really bad and things can get better. If you look at the lens of faith, I would say it in the way of Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 4, 8 through 12. And you guys have probably heard this verse, but I would say you need to read it to yourselves as you're doing your Bible study. If you're doing like me, you're staying in your book, you're staying in your word. No matter what happens around you and the gigs that get canceled, you're saying things like this. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. That's verses 8 and 9. I am praying for all of you that you will know that you're persecuted and struggling maybe. You're hard pressed, but you're not crushed. Okay? We have the ability to recreate things and make things that don't exist yet. And I'm telling you that if you simply just look at what's inside your inventory, just take a look, your toolbox, your skills, your abilities, the way you're able to teach, relate to people, your ability to engineer, to mix, all of these things, you've got to get the inventory down. So you almost have like a menu of skills. And then you take that menu of skills and you add them up with your identity and you say, okay, where can I put this menu where people can see it and they know that I'm still in business? If people know you're still in business, at least when they are looking for that thing, they don't have to go searching all over the internet or going through your Instagram feed. It's all in one place, which is why, once again, I'm inviting you all to go check out godandgigs.com/toolkit, because I have links to all these types of things that you can be doing. Could you be podcasting now? Yes, you could be podcasting. Could you be earning money from podcasting? Yes, I'm doing it. You could be doing it too. Could you be making money by selling your music? Yes. Do you need to have a full CD to do that? No. Could you be monetizing YouTube channels right now? Yes. All of these things are available to you, but you've got to get the mindset right first. Once you get your mindset right, and you don't let the doom and gloom of everything that's happening in our world doom you into this idea that everything's going wrong. Use the Stockdale paradox. Like I said, things are bad, but things can get better. So you've got to keep this in mind. This is your playbook. This is I'm giving you basically like the outline in 30 minutes. I've given you just a quick synopsis of here's the things you got to get done this week if you want to continue to survive a slowdown, even when the gigs are not there. Because these things are really things you should have been doing anyway. But the fact that now that we have to do them is a blessing in disguise. So guys, this has been my creative checkup for the day. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's been 30 minutes, but if this has helped you, I'd invite you to do just a couple of things. Number one, please sign up to our God and Gigs creative community. If you haven't already, if you're watching this, all you got to do is answer 3 questions. You can be a part of the community on Facebook. This is where the community, I pray, is going to band together. We're going to help each other. We're going to post gigs. We're going to post things that are happening. We're going to post notices. There is an incredible website that I posted on God and Gigs, the Facebook page, about grants and emergency assistance for musicians and artists and creators who have been affected by the cancellations and the slowdowns and the shutdowns. So please join that community. All you got to do is just go to godandgigs.com/creative community and you can just simply join, just answer a couple questions and you're in. I also invite you, please, to check out the podcast, godandgigs.com/Apple, is how you get on an Apple podcast. You've got to go ahead and listen to these, not because it gets me any benefit, but because you need to be encouraged. And if you listen to all 53 episodes, including the last episode with Tasia Veal, which was unbelievable, if you need your spirits lifted, listen to episode 53 of the podcast. I'm just telling you, I hope I don't seem overpassionate, but this is real. This is where your mind is going to be your greatest weapon. Your spirit is going to be your greatest weapon. Your ability to see things differently than the world sees them is going to be your greatest weapon. If you focus on who you are and what you're able to provide versus thinking about what you lost in terms of gigs, income, problems, trying to keep families together, trying to handle school, all those issues, I get it. Stockstill paradox, again, things are really bad, I get it. But not allowing yourself to give in to this mindset is what's going to allow you as a creative to come out on the other side. And then following these steps and being disciplined about it is what's going to allow you to be even better when you come out on the other side. So I've been kind of preachy right now, but I just want to be very clear that I believe in you, that you should believe in you, that we're going to come out of this together. And then those of you, again, health-wise, be safe, be honest with yourself in terms of your health. If you do feel that little tinge and you start to feel the dry cough and you get the fever, don't wait and don't say Pollyanna kind of God. The God that we serve also works through doctors. So please go get tested if you can in your local community if you're watching this. And if you know you're getting sick and you need to stay away from people, then do all the things that the CDC is recommending. But this was mainly for those of us who are kind of feeling like where we're going to go, what we're going to do, we're out of work. You have the greatest opportunity probably ever afforded to you, which is the gift of time. Time is probably a gift that very few of us ever realize we have until it's gone. Now you've been given time. You've been given time to focus on your inventory. You've been given time to build your identity, to build your online home, and you've been given time to build up ways of generating income outside of the norm, where you don't have to wait on people to give you gigs. You don't have to wait on people to call you. You could have the initiative. Look at that eye. Look, I got one more in there. Take the initiative to go ahead and get started on these things, because that's your playbook to survive in the slow season. Inventory, get clarity of vision on who you are, your identity, then your inventory, and then make sure that you have your identity set up. Make sure you have your branding set up. Have just a simple place. It can be a simple website. It doesn't have to be fancy. I'll post some more links on guideandgigs.com/toolkit very soon. Actually, all week today I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing today and all week, posting more resources for you. Join the creative community. Get connected with people. Stay connected with people. Reach out to the audiences. Let them know that you're still around. Again, email list. Please go to guideandgigs.com/toolkit and click on the convert kit. Build yourself at least a couple of, just ask for a couple of people to send emails. I guarantee you they'd love to do anything other than watch the news. And so even if you're a sideman musician that doesn't believe you have anything to offer, yes, you do. You don't have to wait. You can get into these areas and find a way to survive the crisis and to move through life even more confidently than maybe you were before all this happened. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. I'm going to post more of those links on this for the replay. Those of you who are watching on the replay, God bless you. Be safe. Wash your hands. But most importantly, keep your mind clear and clean. Keep it positive. Stay positive. Just remember, this is a slowdown, not a shutdown. And you are artists, you're needed. Make sure to follow me on all of my things as well. I'm planning some things personally as an artist, and you can kind of follow my lead. I'm going to be talking about this to my mastermind group as well as my creative coaching group on how I'm building these platforms so that I can continue to make income even while this slowdown is happening. Okay, guys, I'll do a quick check over here. Bianca says, great tips. Thanks so much, Bianca. Tyrone, Johnny, Steven, Shaka, thank you guys for checking in. Those of you who are watching on the replay, bless you guys as well. I am so looking forward to what's going to happen for us in the other side. Be safe, be healthy, stay strong, stay positive. Love you guys. God bless. See you next Monday.